In recent years, there has been a trend of scams targeting seniors. This time, I'd like to share a story about Mimo receiving a fraudulent phone call. She stood her ground against the scam company and even surprised me with an unexpected proposal. The audacity of her proposal left not only me but also the scammer dumbfounded. So, what outrageous request did Mimo make in the end? Let's explore it together. Mimo stepped on the landmine herself, metaphorically speaking, and proceeded to crush it into pieces. The fictitious billing company was left in tears. My name is Karen. I'm a 34-year-old housewife. Recently, Mimo, who lives nearby, received a call from a scammer. To summarize the scam content she received, they claimed she owed payment for a subscription, which she hadn't paid anything for an entire year. However, in reality, she hadn't received any products, nor had she ever signed up for a subscription. It was a complete case of fictitious billing fraud. Besides, if they couldn't confirm the payment, why would they suddenly contact her after a year? Normally, people would either fall for the deception and make the payment or realize it's a scam and hang up. But Mill did something unexpected. She engaged in a conversation with the imaginary debt collector over the phone. The result, the tables turned and she ended up making them pay instead. Now, let me explain the detailed sequence of events. Mimo is a responsible and serious woman in her mid-60s. However, she occasionally plays harmless pranks, which makes spending time with her quite entertaining. When you hear about pranks from a Mill, you might imagine some form of bullying, but that's not the case here. For instance, she often playfully taps my shoulder, and when I turn around, she gently pokes my cheek with her finger, always cute and harmless tricks. As for her son, my husband, during his high school days, he went to school with character-themed lunchboxes. Apparently, these lunchboxes featured scenario characters and other designs that girls would appreciate. Imagine a teenage boy dealing with character-themed lunches. It was quite a challenge, as my husband fondly recalls. But enough of that, let's get back to the main story. While I was staying at my in-laws, my Mill smartphone received a call. Janet, you have a call.
Oh, thank you. HMMM.
What's wrong?
It's an unknown number, but they've been calling frequently lately.
Could it be someone from work?
At work, I have a dedicated smartphone. This one is for personal use.
I see. The call ended abruptly, but 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. They're calling again.
Should I answer it?
Perhaps it's an old friend.
That's right. I'll answer the call.
At that moment, I didn't know who was on the other end, so I listened in on Mimo's conversation with curiosity.
Hello.
Not. Hello. Thank you for your call.
Pardon?
This is Wilson from XYZ Health Food Company.
Is this a sales call? If so, I'm not interested.
No, it's not sales. Please tell me your name.
You want my name? It's Brown.
Miss Brown. You see, the payment for the subscription you purchased a year ago hasn't been settled. If you don't pay, it could lead to serious consequences. So please make the full payment immediately.
It was clear that the person on the line was part of a fraudulent health food company. I signaled to Mimo to hang up. But after she smiled and gave a thumbs-up gesture, she continued conversing with Mr. Wilson from the health food company. Some might think my mischievous and playful Mill would fall for such a scam. However, Mimo isn't the type of person who would fall for something like this, so I decided to observe the situation for now. Interestingly, Mimo is an active business owner. Not to boast, but she's incredibly sharp. Before becoming an entrepreneur, she held a prominent position as a sales director in a well-known company, so she wouldn't easily fall for obvious scams. By the way, our last name isn't actually Brown. Curious about the outcome, I sipped my coffee while listening to Mimo's conversation with Wilson.
It's strange. What did I subscribe to?
It's something for better health supplements. You probably don't have them on hand.
What do you mean? If I don't have them, does that mean they were never delivered?
Actually, that's not the case. It's because Miss Brown, you have been consuming it. Currently, it might not be in your possession. We stopped the monthly deliveries of the subscription product a month ago due to non-payment.
Their subtle approach was quite clever. Supplements are consumable items, so unless you forget to take them, you won't have any remaining at hand. Elderly individuals, not only those who take medication but also those who regularly use supplements for health maintenance, might be targeted intentionally. If that's the case, it's quite malicious. Moreover, if someone uses multiple supplements, it wouldn't be surprising if they believed and paid for a call like this one.
Oh, I see. So that's why I don't have it with me.
Exactly.
By the way, what kind of supplement is it? Well, I'm a bit forgetful too.
However, Mill's unexpected response made me almost spit out the coffee I had in my mouth. That's because she strictly avoids supplement-type medications and only takes prescriptions from the hospital. It can't be helped that such a Mill acts like she just bought supplements, so it makes me laugh, right?
Our supplement, Riesling, contains DNA from blue-backed fish, which is expected to improve knee and lower back pain. Not only can it ease stair climbing but also jogging. It's a fantastic supplement that includes vitamins for overall health, and it even prevents colds.
Oh, I see.
Even from nearby, it was evident that Wilson was reading from some manual or script. The content lacked any real evidence, but it can prevent colds, promote overall health, and strengthen legs and back. If that were true, everyone would already be using it, and the company's name would be well known. Yet, my Mill, who likely knew it was a scam, continued the conversation without hanging up.
Well, actually, I've been forgetful. Come to think of it, I wonder if there was a supplement like that.
That's right. Many people say that.
Though, so others forget to pay too?
Yes, many forget to pay.
As Wilson continued with a somewhat robotic tone, my Mill took an unexpected approach.
Could it be that the supplement contains an ingredient to make people forget?
There's no such ingredient. It's just that you forget. But don't worry. If you make the payment, we can continue the deliveries. Consistent use can even prevent forgetfulness. Many people say so.
Really? Does it cure dementia?
It do.
But there's no cure for dementia. Perhaps this supplement is something extraordinary?
The exchange made me nearly spit out my coffee for the second time that day. My Mill either already knew or hadn't realized, but Wilson's responses were remarkably nonchalant.
You took the supplement, right? Once you take it, you should be able to see the effects.
Well, I forgot, so I'm asking about it. Could you tell me the ingredient names in the supplement?
As representatives of a health food company, we don't have detailed information about the products. Once you make the payment, you can find out the ingredients because the product will be delivered to you.
You don't know the specifics, yet you claim it cures dementia, is good for knees and back, and prevents colds?
Miss Brown, I understand your concern. However, since you've been in arrears for a year, we are requesting payment.
Fine. What should I do?
Let me explain the payment process. You can pay via bank transfer or use PayPal. Miss Brown, do you have a preferred payment method?
Oh, PayPal is accepted?
Yes, it is. Would you like to use PayPal? You'll send a payment to my PayPal account.
Wait, isn't using PayPal for product payments against the terms of use?
No, it's the company's PayPal, but it's in my name.
So, it's the company's PayPal, yet it's in your name. Are you perhaps the CEO or something?
I'm sorry, but I am an employee named Wilson. If you dislike using PayPal, bank transfer is also acceptable.
Despite being pressed by my Mill's logical arguments, Wilson was still holding his ground.
All right then. I'll go with the bank transfer. How much is it?
For an annual subscription, the total amount is $1,800.
That's quite expensive. How much for just one bottle of the supplement?
If you divide it by 12, you'll know.
Wait, why won't you tell me the actual price of the product?
Please wait a moment.
As Wilson made clicking sounds on the phone, presumably doing calculations. My Mill couldn't hold back her laughter and muted her phone while sharing a chuckle with me.
Normally, The supplement would cost $150 per bottle, but somehow Wilson's answer was, the supplement costs $280 per bottle.
This caught my Mill off guard, and she burst into laughter. What was Wilson calculating while making those clicking sounds? Meanwhile, I've already given up on finishing my coffee while it's still warm.
Behem? Well, when I calculated it here, it was $150.
Then that's correct. So please proceed with the $1,800 bank transfer.
Are you sure about this?
Absolutely. Actually, there were overdue payments, so there's a fee, but I have the authority to waive it.
You have that kind of authority? Impressive. So, how much is the waived fee?
The fee is waived.
So, how much was the original fee that I needed to pay?
It was $300, but I'll waive it.
You're giving me $300?
Yes. So the total payment is $1,800.
Oh, thank you. But that's not going to happen, of course.
Finally, my Mills revealed her true self. Although it's questionable to bring up the fee later, Wilson's foolishness becomes more apparent the longer we talk. I'm not entirely sure, but perhaps Wilson was trying to create a sense of value to encourage my Mill to pay sooner?
I see. Well then, $1,000 should be fine.
It seems my prediction wasn't too far off, as Wilson further reduced the amount. But really, can Wilson just lower the company's product price like that without consequences? Maybe I should be grateful that he's sacrificing himself for my Mill.
$1,000, huh? All right, but can you wait a bit longer? My pension won't come in this month.
However, my Mill's mischievous side kicked in. She started negotiating how much more she could lower the price.
That's right. Many people say that.
When is the payment deadline?
It's by the end of this month.
Honestly, paying $1,000 is quite a large sum, isn't it?
Many people say that.
This month, there's something I really want to buy. So, if I have to pay by the end of this month, it'll be $600. Is there anything you can do, Mr. Wilson?
I understand. $600 will be fine.
A surprising success in negotiating. At this point, it seems Wilson is willing to accept any amount of money coming in. While I was shaking my head, my Mill switch flips, and a mysterious counterattack and teasing begins.
Are you serious?
Yes?
Originally, it was $1,800 plus a $300 fee, making a total of $2,100, right?
That's correct.
But somehow, it has now dropped to $600. How can you run a business like that? Besides, you mentioned that the price for one bottle of the supplement was $280. Where did this extra $130 come from?
The $130 is the cost of the supplement.
Well, since it seems you're struggling with using a calculator, let me help. If you buy 12 bottles at $280 each, the total would be $3,360. Even after subtracting the fee you mentioned, it doesn't add up to $1,800. There's definitely a discrepancy of $60, you understand?
Miss Brown, do you have no intention of paying?
It's not that I don't intend to pay, but with all these miscalculations and sloppy math, my willingness is waning. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The relentless attack from my Mill continues. In reality, Wilson seems clueless about what's being said.
Hey, at percent dollar tilde, excuse me. My boss just arrived, so I'll transfer the call.
It appears that the self-proclaimed boss got tired of the back and forth between my unyielding Mill and the flustered Wilson, so they've taken over the phone conversation.
Yes, the call has been transferred. This is Scott, Wilson's boss speaking.
Is this Mr. Scott, Mr. Wilson's boss?
Yes, I am Scott.
I see. Well, Mr. Wilson from earlier was saying strange things.
What's your name?
Johnson?
Once again, my Mill casually lies. Of course, our family name isn't Johnson.
Miss Johnson, huh? I don't know what Wilson said, but the payment for the product you supposedly bought needs to be settled.
But I don't remember buying anything. And besides, Mr. Wilson claimed to have purchased 12 bottles of the $280 supplement. That doesn't add up to $1,800, does it?
Well, there are various discounts for regular purchases. Isn't it fine since it's cheaper?
But I'm telling you, I didn't buy anything in the first place.
We have records of your subscription, so there's no way you didn't buy it. Are you losing your memory? Are you okay?
Does that mean my phone number was also registered there?
Yes,
What about my address?
I know. Listen, it's pointless to keep discussing this here. We already have Miss Johnson's name, address, and phone number.
Despite Mimel's repeated use of the name Johnson, it's clear that Scott's claim is a lie. But unlike Wilson, his tone has become more forceful.
If you're unable to pay, that's perfectly fine. However, we're not a charity, so we will take legal action. Is that acceptable? Even if it inconveniences your daughter, son, or grandchildren.
To further pressure her, Scott hints at the effectiveness of mentioning children and grandchildren when dealing with elderly individuals. Still, Mimel stands her ground.
Like I said, let's get back to the original issue. I have no memory of buying the supplement.
Because you've forgotten. So maybe it's your problem, and you should consult a doctor. Understand? Now, on our end, we're here to work, so we expect proper payment.
Alright, understood. I'll make the bank transfer. Could you send the transfer form to my registered address?
Just I give the account number verbally, and you make the transfer.
Unfortunately, I'm an elderly person with severe forgetfulness, so even if I hear it, I might get it wrong. So, could you send the transfer form to the address you have on file?
Fine, then. So you're going to pay. Let me confirm your address.
You already know my address, don't you?
I do, but I need to confirm it.
Confirmation is unnecessary.
If it arrives somewhere else, that won't do.
You deliver the supplements, right? To my address. That's definitely correct, right?
For peace of mind, right? Tell me your address.
In that case, I'll check it here. So please start with the state.
Are you underestimating me, Grandma?
I'm not underestimating anyone.
As the conversation stalls, Scott's tone becomes increasingly agitated. Perhaps because Mimel wasn't budging, his tone became harsher.
You'll end up disliked by your grandchildren if you keep this up. Can you be any more unreasonable?
Well, I haven't bought anything, and nothing has been delivered, so there's nothing to be done.
Fine, fine. I get it, Grandma. We have a delivery history on our end.
Then please send the delivery history along with the invoice.
Why? It's confidential.
Is the delivery history confidential?
Listen, we run a proper company here. Such information is confidential, and amateurs shouldn't meddle.
Mr. Scott, who is the boss, unaware that Mimel is the business owner, seems to be using confidential in odd places. Mimel can't help but laugh.
If you won't show me the history, I won't pay.
Fine, whatever. Be prepared, then.
Well, he hung up. Karen.
That was quite a long phone call. It seems they will take legal action.
Honestly, I hate these kinds of calls. The whole thing lacks integrity. Once he calms down, we'll talk again.
The stubborn and slightly clueless Mill is already gearing up to make another call. Although I found it quite entertaining, I figured she'd leave it be. But the next day, when I visited Mimel's house, she had coffee and cookies laid out on the table.
Today might be another long one, so let's enjoy some snacks.
Her smartphone was fully charged, and she seemed ready for battle. Determined to enjoy my coffee calmly today, I braced myself and listened to the phone call. Hello. Thank you for your call. This is Wilson from the XYZ Health Food Company.
Hello, Mr. Wilson. It's Johnson. I mean Brown.
Which Brown are you?
We spoke on the phone yesterday.
Yes, you're Miss Brown. Although my boss mentioned Johnson.
Either name works.
How can I assist you?
So, how should I handle the payment?
I don't know, so I'll transfer you to my boss. Once Wilson realized he was speaking to Mimel, his tone became more subdued. Perhaps he got scolded by Scott after that?
Yes. This is Scott. What can I do for you?
What do you mean, what can I do? How should I handle the payment?
I already said we'll take legal action. What? Are you scared now? And by the way, Grandma, Wilson said you were brown. But why are you telling such obvious lies?
Oh, it doesn't matter either way. You know my address and phone number, whether it's Brown or Johnson.
Why are you pulling such cheap tricks?
Who's really pulling cheap tricks here?
Enough already. We will handle it, okay? But don't call me Grandma.
Scott abruptly hung up the call.
Oh, he hung up again.
At this point, it's getting interesting. After spending a normal tea time, Mimo casually said,
I'll call you again tomorrow. So please come, Karen.
"Are you going to call again tomorrow?" Got it. The next day, around noon, Mimo made another call from her house. "Hello. Thank you for your call. This is Wilson from the XYZ Health Food Company." The person who answered the call was Wilson as usual.
Hello, it's Johnson.
Yes. Do you need something? No. There's nothing. I see. Well then, I'll hang up.
Hey, he hung up the phone without permission.
This made both of us burst into laughter. Wilson's nonchalant attitude was quite amusing. Nevertheless, since it wasn't very interesting this way, Mimo decided to call again. "Hello. Thank you for your call. This is Wilson from the XYZ Health Food Company."
It's Johnson. But why did you hang up?
"Well, was there something?"
You work at the company's reception, right? That won't do.
"Well,
If you're interested, how about getting consulting services from my company? It'll be beneficial for your life. It costs $1,000, though."
Scott, right? Hold on for a moment." Wilson's response was quite half-hearted, and it was clear that he was being lazy.
Okay, it's Scott, Grandma. Are you free?
But, are you hitting on me? Can't you stop?
I'm the one who's begging here. Anyway, you don't have any business, right?
I was wondering when the invoice would arrive.
The invoice? Bo, that thing. It won't arrive. Maybe it'll be something like a content certified mail. Just be prepared.
Oh, really? So it's a reminder for unpaid fees?
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, it'll also include the delivery history, right?
Just wait and you'll find out.
Why are you so irritated? Have you had your meal?
Shut up.
What a situation. Mimo was just concerned about Scott's meal, but he got angry and hung up. It seems like Scott's reaction is starting to resemble that of a teenage boy.
Well, he's quite a handful.
Muttering to herself, Mimo told me to come back tomorrow. Even though I thought, "Are you doing this again tomorrow?" I decided to go along because it's amusing. The next day, "Hello. Thank you for your call. This is Wilson from the XYZ Health Food Company.
It's Johnson.
Are you free?
I'm busy. Is Mr. Scott available?
You have free time, huh? I'll transfer you to Scott."
Hello. What do you want, Grandma?
You. Why are you doing this kind of job?
How? What?
Sniff. I'm worried about you. Doing scams like this.
What? Why are you crying?
Sorry, it just reminded me of my son. My son? Even when I made him lunch, he was always angry.
Well, of course, cute character lunchboxes would probably get a teenage boy upset. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised by Mimo suddenly pretending to cry.
Even when I woke up early and worked hard to make lunch, he never said thank you. But I still tried my best.
So what?
But now, my son. Sniff.
Well, my husband is alive and well, you know?
Miss Johnson, you're living alone?
For now, yes.
During the day, my Phil is also at work, so Mimo is usually alone. Well, technically, she's not lying.
Seriously. If you get sick, can you go to the hospital?
Buses run, so I can. But I don't know if that'll be possible in the future. And your mother? Is she still around?
She is.
Take the opportunity now to show her love. You might not be able to see her someday. Quit this job, too. Did you graduate from high school?
I did.
Then that's good. Get a more stable job. Your mother will surely be pleased.
I understand. Sorry about what's happened. Actually, about the supplement subscriptions.
You don't need to say more.
Scott, the boss, fell for the crying tactic unexpectedly. Seeing Scott's thoroughly repentant demeanor, I silently applauded,
By the way,
just as it seemed like a heartwarming resolution was about to happen. Maimo had an awakening.
I run a company, you know. For the time I spent talking to you on the phone, I couldn't work. If I calculate it as an hourly wage, it's about $200. My call with you lasted 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'll give you a 15-minute discount, so for the remaining 3 hours, that's $600. And then, as a consulting fee to change your life, another $1,000. Altogether, that's $1,600. Please make the payment.
Hell, what?
I'll send an invoice, so could you provide your address? I'll send it under the company's name, so please pay within the next month.
We have to pay?
Well, yes. Can't afford it? Well, then there's nothing we can do. Be prepared.
In an instant, I heard the sound of the call abruptly ending. Unbelievably, Maimo started demanding payment from a fictional billing company. From their perspective, it was probably a reasonable response. Well, in the end, Maimo didn't actually intend to pursue the claim seriously. However, it seems that when she tried calling the next day, the phone line had been cancelled. After this experience, Maimo apparently started warning people about scams within her own company. There are so many strange scams lately, so everyone, please be careful. This time, Maimo brilliantly turned the tables on the fake billing company, but please don't do what she did. If you encounter such situations, seek proper advice from the appropriate authorities. How did you find this story? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the next video.